Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Very happy to be here. Have a fantastic question from one of you amazing subscribers. Let's take a look at what that question is. Let's get into it.
The only thing that stays consistent is the grind. Keep on grinding.
Alright, so you guys are always keeping it interesting like I always say, because it's true, you guys always keep it interesting. It's amazing how so many people out there can have so many different circumstances, so many different ideas, so many different thoughts, and so many different styles. It really is incredible, and it's a privilege to be able to do my best to try to help you guys determine what styles are best for you before you go ahead and make a commitment. Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here. Let's talk about this question this amazing subscriber had. Fantastic question. Really love this. Very in-depth. Let's check it out. I have a 4mm Miami Cuban, and I'm thinking of getting a Franco at 3.5 millimeters. My Cuban is 22 inches in length. I'm wondering if the same length would look better to stack, or should I go shorter or longer? I'm also open to other type of chains to stack with the 4mm Cuban as well. Alright, so today guys, as you can see, we are going to be looking at a 22-inch Cuban link. We're going to be pairing that with a 3.5mm Franco, and we're going to be throwing it on the neck at a shorter length and a longer length. And as a bonus, we're going to be looking at another chain that I feel personally may be a great addition to this gentleman's 4mm Miami Cuban. Possibly, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments, possibly better than even the 3.5mm Franco. Let's get into this. Alright guys, we are back, and so the subscriber, as I mentioned, has a 4mm Miami Cuban. He was thinking about pairing that with a 3.5mm Franco. Guys, I thought I had a 4mm Miami Cuban. I really did, and I still think I do, but I think my wife might have put it somewhere. So what I have currently is a 3.5mm Miami Cuban and a 3mm Franco, okay? It's going to represent a similar millimeter as to what this subscriber was looking at, because he wanted a 4mm Miami Cuban with a 3.5mm Franco. Instead, we have a 3.5mm Franco with a 3mm Cuban. So the ratio of millimeters will be the same. Just keep in mind that this gentleman's Cuban would be a little bit bigger than this one, but it's pretty much the same exact stack, okay? So at the end of the day, it's only 0.5 millimeters difference. That will make a difference on the chain, but in order to give you guys an idea of the look itself, not gonna make a difference. You guys are gonna know whether this is a good stack or not, especially when we throw it on with different lengths, and then when we pair it with something else, okay? So let's throw these on the neck. Let me just show you something real quick though. Very important, guys. Take a look at this 3mm Franco. That thing looks gigantic compared to this 3.5mm Miami Cuban. You might be thinking, Joe, that's not the case. You measured wrong. That is not a 3mm Franco. You might be thinking that, and I would not blame you. But I assure you, I checked this with the calipers about 4 times. And I'm somebody who deals with this stuff every day. So this even fools my eyes. And I see this stuff every single day. Guys, the reason why is it's the same principle as with the rope chains. Now, I've mentioned to you guys in the past that with rope chains, they look very chunky, very big for what they are, and they can actually be deceivingly big, meaning you can actually have a small millimeter rope chain, but it can come across as a large millimeter rope chain. A 4mm rope chain might look like a 5.5mm rope chain, but really it's a 4. Same principle goes along with the Franco, okay? Because it is a fat, chunky chain. So as you can see, this flat link chain, the Miami Cuban, looks like a dwarf compared to this Franco, okay? Now, another thing that I want to point out, everybody's opinion is different. I just want to give you my opinion on this particular circumstance, okay? When you have a box chain like this, like the Franco, boxy chain, a high chain, it's very high compared to this flat Miami Cuban. When you have a high chain like this, I personally, there's no rules, but I personally would not typically pair it with something like a flat link chain like this, especially at the same length. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't tested this in advance. I just know from personal experience what I personally like to wear. Let's take a look at this around the neck. We'll take it 12 feet away, and then we're gonna check this out at different lengths to see what it looks like from there. All right, guys, we're back with these chains around the neck. Again, we have a 3.5 millimeter Miami and a 3 millimeter Franco. Now, I gotta be honest, they look a lot nicer than what I originally thought they would. But you see here, I just want to show you something if I can. I'm gonna try. You see how you have the high, I'm over here screaming in your ear. You see how you have the high Franco kind of eats up this flat chain, the Miami. Now, personally, you see how much higher it is? You see the difference in the height? Personally, I just don't like that look. It just kind of dwarfs it, kind of eats the whole chain. In my opinion, even at this millimeter, I'm not feeling it too much. Now, it's more apparent at a higher millimeter. If you had maybe a 5 millimeter Franco and maybe, 5.5 millimeter Miami, something like that, you're gonna see it a lot more than you're gonna see it at this smaller size, which actually for this subscriber in the size range he's looking at, it might not even be a problem, especially from like a few feet back. But personally, if I'm talking to somebody and you guys are right here in front of the camera, just for me, I don't particularly like the stack. When you're standing a few feet away and it's hanging out together, I think it gives it a nice look. I really do. But I just don't like the height difference. I feel like the box chain of the Franco, that high box look, and the flat link, I feel like it's just such a huge difference in look. But guys, there's no rules. But you see the profile? Check the profile out. You see that difference? It would be much bigger of a difference at a higher millimeter, but it comes down to you and your style. There's no rules. So let's take this 12 feet back, check it out. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Maybe it looks fantastic and maybe it's just me. We'll take it 12 feet away. Then we'll throw it on with different lengths. We'll space it out a little bit. Turn to the side. Okay. Bring it back up. Got the Jesus walk going on. No, you guys love that. Okay. Now let's take this Franco and drop it a bit lower, since this gentleman already has a 22-inch Miami. So that's not changing. So the Franco is going to have to change for this gentleman's circumstances. We're going to actually bring this up to 20 inches, and then we're going to drop it a little bit further. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so around the neck, you guys can see I have this Franco at 20 inches and then 22 inches on the Miami. All right, so we'll take this back also 12 feet away. Personally, I like this look better than the last one. This Franco looks even like, it looks like an even bigger millimeter than the Miami. Here's again the profile thing that I personally don't like. I don't like that this is higher than the flat Miami. That's just something that kind of bothers me. If it was a rope, it would bother me a little bit less, just because of my eye. It's my opinion. Everybody has an opinion. But because it's a box, because it's a flat top, and the rope is more of a kind of a rolling chain, kind of a rounded chain, that would bother me less, much less. I would actually probably not mind pairing a rope with a Miami. But with a Franco, personally, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it too much. But let's bring it back 12 feet away. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Believe me, my opinion does not mean much. I'm just here to give you guys a good look at what you guys might want to purchase in the future. Okay, we'll bring it back up. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to throw the Franco a little bit lower than the 22. Alright guys, we have the Franco hanging out at 24 inches in length. We have the 22-inch Miami Cuban. I personally like this look the best. The reason why is, even though this Franco is a smaller millimeter than the Miami, I actually like the fact that it looks like a bigger millimeter, and I personally like the Franco hanging out outside of the Miami. Okay, I like it hanging outside. When this was shorter, when the Franco was shorter, it was hanging out on the inside of the Miami. Now that it's hanging out on the outside of the Miami, it's going to cradle the Miami. In my mind, that makes sense. Okay, so even though it's a smaller millimeter, it's hugging the Miami. The Miami's hanging out on the inside. It's not going anywhere. And the wall of the Franco, I hope you guys can see it, the wall of the Franco is going to hold that Miami in. You see that? I like that look. I like that look a lot. This is the best look that I think we've done in this video so far. Having the Franco, even though it's a smaller millimeter, it looks like a bigger millimeter, having it hang out down here, okay? Now, personally, this is a little long for me, but hey, it's whatever you guys like. It's what this subscriber likes. Let's take this 12 feet back. I like this the most so far. And next, we're going to be pairing this with a different chain, one that I feel might go better as far as a pair goes. Or maybe not better, but definitely just something different to give this subscriber an idea of maybe something that he can pair. If you guys have any ideas of what he can pair, drop them in the comments, guys. Help this gentleman out. I know he would appreciate it. All right, we're back, and I have paired with this 3.5 millimeter Miami Cuban, a 3 millimeter round box. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I looked through my collection. I thought that this looked very, very nice. Now, the reason I chose this particular chain was because originally this subscriber chose a Franco, right? So that's a more higher chain that's a little bit of a boxy chain. And I thought that maybe this subscriber likes that look. Now, I thought that look would be fantastic if it was just toned down just a little bit, rounded out. Now, I tried this pairing with a rope chain, and I didn't particularly like it. I tried it with a round box, and I thought, all right, this is it. So let me show you what that looks like here. This is a round box and the Miami Cuban link together, one neck. Check that out, because the round box is nice and smooth and not a harsh square. I feel it pairs very well at the same time that it gives it a higher look, if that's what this particular subscriber was going for. This is it hanging out at 22 inches in length. Okay, I feel like it looks much better than a sharp Franco edge hanging out with a flat chain at the same length. This look will also pair very nice if it's shorter, like this, or if it's longer, like this. Either way, it's going to pair very, very nicely. And because it is a round chain, even though it's at a 3 millimeter, okay? Even though it's at a 3 millimeter and the Miami is at a 3.5, it still holds its ground very well. And it may even look just a bit along the same millimeter, even though it's not. So you can actually get away with it, in my opinion, longer than the Miami, because it's going to hold its ground as far as millimeters go, and you can also get away with it shorter. And either way, on the outside of the shirt or on the inside of the shirt, I feel like it's going to fall very nicely. So let's say take this 12 feet back, and then we'll shorten it up, and then we'll make it longer to show the subscriber what this would look like. Keep in mind again, the subscriber has a 4 millimeter Miami, so maybe he'd want to go for a 3.5 millimeter round box. That would be the same millimeter comparison to what we have now, even though we have a 3.5 millimeter Miami and a 3 millimeter round box, okay? So it's the same millimeter difference, but just at a smaller scale. So you're getting the same exact look that you would, except just on a little bit of a smaller scale, which is actually good, because if the subscriber likes this look, then they know that it's going to look even better with their larger size chain. All right, let's shorten this up. Okay, this is at a 20-inch length round box, and you have the 22-inch Miami. We'll take it back. As you guys can see, I think it holds its ground very well on the inside of the chain and the outside of the chain. You have that unique experience with the rounder chains or with the square chains that, because of the way they look, because of their shape, they can actually get away with looking like more or less than what they actually are. So it's very versatile with the way that you can stack them. They're kind of like a wild card, if that makes sense. Okay, so here we have the 3 millimeter and here we have the 3.5 millimeter. The round box is on the outside of the Miami at 3.5. When it comes together like this, it's going to hold the Miami against itself, against the wall of the chain. And even though it's a smaller millimeter, and you might be able to tell just a little bit that it's smaller, it still holds its ground because it's higher. So if you look at the profile, you see that profile? I hope that I'm making sense to you guys. I'm trying to show you the best. See how it's higher? It kind of makes up for the fact that it's a smaller millimeter, and so it holds its ground well, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, guys? I feel as though if this subscriber purchased a round box at a smaller millimeter, that would probably be a pretty cool look. But even at the longer millimeter, I still think it looks good, because it's a little bit more of a higher chain. So let me know what you guys think. It's all personal preference. I tried to cover this subscriber's question as best as possible and give as much versatility as possible within one video. This is probably one of the longer videos that I've done, but this was a pretty in-depth question. I really, really hope that it helped. Talk soon, guys. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are, because I have a feeling that you guys out there will have much better thoughts than me. Talk soon, be safe, catch you guys in the next video.